Hello, I'm Jessica Amir, market analyst with Bell Direct. Joining us today is a company that's benefited from the shift to working at home amid the pandemic. Cloud services business Megaport, the CEO of the company, Vincent English, is with us now. Vincent, thank you so much for joining us from Brisbane.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Let's start off with Megaport's elevator pitch.
Thanks, Jessica. Megaport is a leader in network as a service. What we've done is we've built a global network that connects 197 locations, cloud provider locations, Microsoft, AWS, Google, Oracle, etc. So where customers have their own equipment and their own servers inside in the data center, and they can actually connect that equipment to a public cloud to augment their business. The model is based on a pay-as-you-go model, so it's a lot more efficient. It's a lot more cost effective for customers. And they also have a portal or a one-stop shop effectively on the Megaport platform where they can pick and choose what services they want to use to help them run and manage their business. We have we've over 1,800 customers at the end of June. Some of them are Fortune 500 companies, large multinational companies, right down to small, medium-sized companies. And you know, they're in that presentation, our earnings presentation, which is on the website and also on the ASX, has a good example of the type of customers and user cases that we've got today.
Your shares have done exceptionally well, outperforming the market, and have gained 46% year to date as at the time of recording this, and hit an all-time high after handing down your financial year results, which showed a 66% jump in revenue and an increase in your cash position. What should investors take away from your results?
Yeah, look, we had a very successful year last year. We report every quarter on our KPIs and on our revenue. So again, probably wasn't too much of a surprise in terms of the total revenue for the market as a whole, which is good for investors and shareholders to keep pace of how the business is tracking. But we did have two very successful capital raises during the year, where we closed up the end of the financial year with over 160 million cash in the bank. We have a very resilient model post-COVID-19 in the world that we're in today. We're again enabling customers to speed up their connectivity and allowing their businesses to thrive in this environment. So that's been a key driver. Not all businesses and verticals are, as we all know today, are not all equal. So hospitality, unfortunately, and airlines, etc., we know are suffering as a result of COVID-19. But then a lot of businesses are working remotely, need connectivity for video. Then you've got a lot of businesses like pharmaceuticals, banking, financial services, manufacturing, logistics, which are all trying to keep pace with in today's world, keep up with their demand for their products. So, you know, again, a lot of that work has been done in a public cloud environment. So we sort of benefited from enabling that connectivity and uptake in demand. So, you know, in terms of the overall results, you're right, 66% up in revenue. We had 94% growth in our North America business during the year. And, you know, that was 54% in our APAC region and 36% growth in our European region. So all business units are contributing. One common denominator is that demand is increasing for services, and the speed at which we're enable that for customers is kind of a big driver. Overall, we had an EBITDA loss in a financial year just under 20 million, 19.9 million, an improvement substantially on last year, and also on our gross margin as continues to improve as we drive more revenue and the business scales much quicker. And we're looking to exit this financial year FY21 in June 21 on an EBITDA break-even basis. So as I've mentioned on our earnings call.
But we do have to ask, what about profit? You are in loss territory at the moment. You're a growth tech business. But when can we expect Megaport to be generating net profit after tax?
Yeah, I suppose just to clarify, we're aiming to be on an exit run rate to be EBITDA break even in June. You're right, we're very much focused on EBITDA. There's a very strong correlation between our EBITDA numbers and our cash break even position. And you know, depreciation and amortization are the two big non-cash items that are a charge on our income statement.
So how big is the cloud industry? Where does Megaport play a part, and who are your biggest competitors?
Well, there's a study, we've been kind of quoting this one for a little bit. There's a Gartner 2019 report on a study on the cloud market overall. So as of FY20, the industry's in around a $290 billion revenue market, and it's expected to grow up to over 350 over the next 2 to 3 years. And that's companies like Microsoft, Google, AWS, etc., Oracle, right, including the telcos, right, includes everything that's in that spend that we've done. So we're a subset of that. Now, right now, with our total revenue being 58 million at the end of June, and obviously continuing to grow, we're a small subset at the moment, but we're an important contributor to that in a very growing space. Like I said, this year we grew by 66%. Last year we grew by 78% in terms of our revenue year on year. So we have an important role to play in that industry. Yeah, and then look, in terms of competition, it's a little tricky, that one. There's no real direct like for like comparison in the space that we're in. When we did our IPO back in 2015, we did talk about openly, saying that we are first of our kind, and we are running to try and capture as much as we can. I suppose typically we're probably comparing ourselves a bit more like the telco model, or we're displacing maybe the public internet for connecting to the cloud, which is is not great for latency, and it's not great for security, etc., particularly when you've got mission critical workloads that businesses want to use public cloud for. So they want to make sure that they've got proper secure connectivity and it works properly. So we're sort of in a different space to a lot of people, and that's why it's quite disruptive in terms of what we're doing, and enabling customers in a much different fashion than it was traditionally there before.
Changing pace now, company longevity is at the forefront of CEO's strategic plans. So what's your focus when it comes to environmental, social and governance, known as ESG?
Yeah, look, it's at the forefront of our business. They're all very important aspects, starting with governance. That's really important for us. As a public company, we've grown and in size. We've gone into the ASX 200 this year for the first time. So along with that, it brings on another set of, I suppose, it brings on other things that we need to be more cognizant of in terms of on our governance, and including bringing on more board directors, non-independent, non-executive directors onto the board. In terms of environmental, we actually don't produce anything because we're a tech company. So everything we do is sort of virtual, effectively, with our physical network. But we do use state-of-the-art equipment. We do deploy all of our equipment. We use this. When I say we use state-of-the-art in terms of the consumption of energy, it's a very high efficiency output in terms of what it's doing. So very cognizant of that environmental impact it has on our network. We work with obviously some of the biggest suppliers and vendors, and also partners in the world, including data centers, which is very top of mind for them in terms of power and consumption usage. And then from I suppose the other aspects of there, we feel like that as a company that's a modern company and a new company, it's easier to involve all of these aspects as you're part of your day-to-day environment, and then it just becomes the norm, and it's the way of doing business. So that's we're very cognizant of it and our responsibilities in those areas.
So this year you're welcome to the ASX 200, and with that there's more of a focus on having a gender balance in leadership. What's Megaport doing in this regard?
Well, I'm pleased to say I'm delighted we're doing quite a lot, and 40% of our we've 214 employees today across the network. 40% of our employees are female. We've got on my exec team our head of people and culture, Melanie, and then Anna, who's our head of general counsel and heading up our legal. Two very key important members of the team. And I said that the board as well, with those new directors coming on board, we're planning on making sure that we have a higher, greater diversity on the board level, which we've outlined in our annual report, along with all our policies relating to those and how it all comes together in our plans for the future.
Vincent English, Megaport CEO, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jessica.
And thank you for watching. For more information about Megaport, head to Bell Direct's website.